All right. Everybody, okay, we're live. You guys ready to go? Woo! Who's ready for some capital raising? We just had some lunch, so I'm going to get you guys a little energy going first, okay? You guys down? A lot of capital raising, as you guys just sat through that last session, is social media, right? Getting yourself out there. I'll show you guys a couple little tips that I'm doing today, but let's get it started here. I'm going to do, you guys down if we do a quick live with everybody? You guys got to be loud though, okay? Let's do it. You guys, you better get loud. I don't want to be, oh, here we go. Everyone's quiet. I want it to feel like it's the main room, all right? So let's make it feel like the main room. Okay. We all stand up? Let's do it. Please do. All right. Capital. All right. I'll cue you guys up when I want you to get loud, okay? Okay, here we go. We'll see if we can have enough service in this hotel, huh? All right, we're here at Owners Club Day 2, about to do a live session in the big room. Woo! Love it, thank you guys. So if you are watching this live, you're missing out because you're not part of Owners Club. You're going to have to maybe stay tuned. I'll give you guys some little hacks, but this crew out here is about to get the gold, and we're going to be doing one-on-ones with people and bringing them up here on stage, or maybe I'll go out to them in the audience. We're going to be solving their problems when it comes to raising capital. Talk to you guys soon. Oh, man. Okay. You know what? Rookie mistake. If you guys don't know this, it has to be over a minute. I felt like that was a minute, but it's okay. We're still going to... Let's do it again. Okay, all right. We got to go at least a minute. Yeah, you guys weren't loud enough anyway. Here we go. All right, let's try one more time. I should have known that lesson. I learned that lesson a while ago, and I'm like, oh, but you're always trying to be shorter on social media, right? Faster. But not if you're going live. Okay. There we go. Here we go. All right, we are live from Owners Club up here on the stage in the main room. I'm about to show you guys the crowd. Let's show you right now, huh? Yes. Love it. Heck yeah. These guys. Woo-hoo! Love it. All right, now, you wouldn't know it, but this group just got done having lunch. But they are ready to go. So we're going to be breaking down capital raising. All right, so if you guys are watching this live, I'm just giving you a little sneak peek of it. But this crew, we're going to be going through capital raising. We're going to be actually picking out people, whoever wants help today. So be thinking about if you got questions on capital raising. We're going to break it down for you guys, answer your own questions. I'm going to start off showing you guys some of the high-level stuff. But man, I'm pumped to give this presentation to you guys. We're actually, I didn't start here, but we're in Monterey, California at Owners Club, one of the most powerful masterminds I'm a part of and have ever been a part of. So I hope to see you guys. Hey, stay tuned. I'll share a couple little clips with you guys, but until then, let's sound them off, guys. All right. Woo! I hope so. Yes, that was a minute. All right. You guys nailed it. Cool. And another thing too, just like little tools, like I'm just going to talk through what I'm doing. So I'm going to set this up here and capture it, because a big part of it is content. And like Pace says, you always got to be finding different ways to capture it. And that thing's probably not, oh, it did post. I figured it wasn't going to post with the Wi-Fi. All right. But I give everybody a chance to get in here. You know what? I'm going to move it. Yeah, I'm going to move it over here so it's a little better lighting. I'll try not to kick this thing off the stage. Here we go. Okay, thank you guys for the patience. So as I mentioned, to kind of frame it up today, I'm going to go over a couple slides of a little bit of high-level capital raising, but we're going to be here till 3:30 if you guys want. All right, I'll be here till 3:30, so hopefully you guys stay, and some more people will trickle in. But the intent is you guys kind of like the hot seats. Actually, who was in Boston and did the hot seats? And how actually, who's this? This is their first year in Owners Club. All right, love it, cool, good to see you guys. So you guys are probably like, what's he talking about? So in Boston, there was a lot of hot seats where you could go and whatever topic you wanted, you can get up and they would break down where your questions are, because I'm sure when I get some volunteers, hopefully there's plenty, the questions you're asking, again, everyone is probably asking a similar question, okay? And I got lots of backup slides if we need to present anything, but I'm going to try to keep this one pretty quick. All right, we'll go ahead and share my screen. See if it'll pop up. Is it over there? Okay, you guys got it. Okay, first off, I'll start here. So if you guys don't mind, scan that QR code really quick. So I'll let you guys, everybody's got a phone out, scan that QR code. And once you get into it, it's going to take you to my Instagram. So I would love to connect with all you guys there. But so follow me first. But secondly, check out the videos. Go to my videos and see one of the ones that's pinned if you go to the videos. So go past the posts, go to the videos part. All right, you see one of those videos, how many views does it have? Yeah, the first one. The one is my little son that's in there he's right behind me in my office. You guys see that one? Yes. 8.7 million views, which is wild. So I want to tell you guys the quick story, okay? And you're going to see this is not about views, but it's going to drive the point home, okay? So a year ago, exactly, I was getting ready to come down here for Owners Club, right? I was going to go to the Scottsdale retreat. And a couple days before that, I was in my office and my son was home from school. And I'm like, with nothing to do, I'm like, do you want to start cold calling? Do you want to actually do some work? You want to help out, Dad? He's like, yeah, I'll try. So I got him set up in the CRM and he started making calls. And this was the second or a third call. And you guys can watch it later and listen to the sound because it's hilarious. And you'll see why I got 8.7 million views, which half of it was just people bickering about child labor laws and other people thinking how hilarious it was that he just rolled with it because this old lady I'll say, okay, so he's recording it and I'm literally just behind myself because he's right behind me and I'm recording it. And this lady is just being really mean to him and he just keeps his calm and she hangs up and it's really funny. So I'm like, I should post that. So right before I get on the plane to we're going to Phoenix, right? I'm like, all right, I want to post this video. So I added a couple captions and put a little grumpy granny emoji thing. And I posted it. And when I landed a couple hours later, it was taking off. I'm like, holy cow. And I just got to Owners Club and I'll never forget it. It was it kept going and I was we were learning all about social media that week, just like you guys are, but last year it was all create content. Pace had tons of good speakers sharing it with us. And I was talking to him, I'm watching this video go viral and it was crazy, right? So it kept going all the way up to 8.8 million views, all right? But now, how much money do you guys think I've raised from that video alone? What would you guys guess? 10 million? Any other guesses? 350? Oh man, you guys I appreciate the confidence in me. Thank you. That's it. Yeah, I can't directly correlate any money to that specific video, right? It went crazy, and to Pace's point, you attract your tribe, your vibe attracts your tribe. I caught a bunch of fish that didn't necessarily invest. Right? It helped me grow my following. As you see, my following is huge now, but those aren't all my tribe, right? So my point is, it's not really about viral content. It's about being yourself, okay? That's what I try to do on my content and somebody asked me right out in the hall before I came up here, what have you done to grow it? And my feedback is, and you guys see Pace do this, and I think a lot of people, be yourself. Whatever that unique person is, show it, and don't be ashamed of it. Don't feel like nobody wants to see me, right? Be yourself. I love showing my family. I love showing my kids, showing what's important to me. And while a lot of times I'll be thinking that people really don't want to see that, and they're probably like, why does Casey, all he cares about is himself, why does he need to post himself? And again, my wife even tells me that sometimes and gives me a hard time because she doesn't quite think like I do. Or other people, or maybe like in school, like one of my kids is like, your dad's on Instagram or whatever. But at the end of the day, I've gotten so much feedback of people who are like, I just enjoy getting to see who you really are. And now that is how I am starting to raise capital at scale, because people see who I am. They see how I show up for my kids and coaching my kids and for my wife and coming places like this. They get to see how I show up, right? And I'm building that credibility, and it's consistency. So you've heard all this from Pace and everyone else, and I just want to reiterate it. Start your social media and start being consistent and just be yourself. You don't need to go figure out, and if you need a bunch of stuff to plan out, use ChatGPT and it'll give you all you need to go create a script and a reel. But my advice would be just figure out a way to be yourself, all right? So, quick disclaimer, all right? Everything I share today or talk through, and this will be recorded, okay? This is what's worked for me, but go consult an attorney. And you're going to see why on the next slide. I want to frame it up this way, okay? It's always the carrot and the stick, all right? To kind of invoke action and take the next step, all right? Let's give you the stick. Whoops, where'd it go? Let's give you the stick here for a second, all right? So if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to capital raising, it could end up really bad, all right? And this is not to scare you guys, but it's also, I've seen this in this community, and I've seen it in other masterminds that are like high-level real estate masterminds. And people are all excited to raise capital and bring in all these partners, but if you don't do it the correct way, it can be a big deal, all right? This picture shows it. So it's not to scare you, but it's important that you understand it, all right? Now that we kind of did the carrot, the stick, let's talk about the carrot, all right? So on the carrot, it's not up there. Did you see the last one? Oh, okay. I was going to say, I was talking about that scary slide. I was hoping you guys knew what I meant. Okay, but the carrot is, think about this. This was brought up to me in a mastermind years ago, that the most wealthy people in the world, like historically in the history of the world, are either in real estate or they are fund managers. So think about that. I mean, does that make sense? Like the guys on Wall Street, the people raising capital, hedge funds, institutional capital, right? Those are all fundraisers, okay? And now think about all the wealth created in real estate. So what you guys all have in this room is you can do both. Think about the power of that. I want to say it again. Think about the power that you can be a fund manager or raising capital and doing real estate. It's a superpower that every one of you guys have, and that's why I want you to get excited, okay? Don't get scared about the last slide. We'll make sure that you guys stay out of trouble, okay? But it is such a powerful strategy to create a ton of wealth, all right? Does that get you guys excited? Good. Perfect. Okay, so just to highlight let me share my background really quick. So I worked in corporate America. I worked for Shell. So my degree's in petroleum engineering. I started with Shell in Houston in 2011 as an intern and went full-time in 2012. So I worked that W-2 job for 12 years, all right? But while I was doing it, I was building up my real estate company. You can kind of see what I was building while I was doing it. One of the first things I built out was property management. I was managing my own properties, and eventually I trained virtual assistants how to do it. And actually yesterday, super exciting, we closed our biggest asset yet, 120 units up in Wyoming, and that's got us up to 400 units. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yep. Which I can tell you, I'll tell you now. I funded that through a family office. It was actually the way I got introduced to them was going out and being on other people's podcasts, right? Like Pace said, one of the best hacks. I actually paid, you can go pay for platforms to get you on more high profile podcasts. So I think that's maybe, and some of you guys might be ready for that now. Some of you guys might be just get on podcasts. But what I did is I invested a little bit of money to get on the right podcasts. And my niche, my demographic, you saw I worked in oil and gas, is to raise from oil and gas professionals. So I'm like, I need to get on oil and gas podcasts. So I did that, and I got introduced to a family office that's focused in like minerals and royalties. They're out of New Mexico. I met them. They heard me on the podcast. They actually flew up to Wyoming because I'm like, hey, I've got the perfect deal for you guys. Because it was a big big acquisition. This deal was $15.5 million that we closed yesterday and 120 units. Not a deal that I could take down myself, right? So I flew them up to Wyoming, built that relationship, and then we closed that deal. So I'm hoping to do many, many deals with them, okay? But just a little bit more about like my deal flow. I have wyohouses.com. That's my direct-to-seller company, right? That's how I bring in all the deals and figure out, are we going to flip it? We're going to wholesale it? We're going to buy it with a fund? Lots of different options, right? And the last two are construction. So I'm in Wyoming. I grew up there. Your probably first question was, why are you in Houston doing Wyoming? That's random. Anybody else do deals in Wyoming? That's right. Let's keep it that way. Just kidding. You guys are welcome to come. I actually sell some turnkey deals. But yeah, I love it in Wyoming. I'm one of the only wholesalers. When I first started wholesaling, I was the only one. But now I do Wyoming, Montana, the surrounding states. And because of this awesome community, I get to do deals all over. Is that Jordan in the back? Oh, no, I thought it was Jordan with the beard and the cat. But anyway, I thought I saw Jordan Reyes. He's another Montana guy. Okay, so we do in-house construction, sort of out of necessity because there's not a lot of contractors, and to scale, we had to find our own guys. But down there at the bottom, so now vertically integrated, can find the deals, can fix them up, and do property management, okay? But how do I keep funding all those deals? How do I put it all together? And that's why I started leaning into raising capital. So Bighorn Capital is my fund, right? It's my accredited fund that I work with, and I'm happy to dig into that today, but I want to focus more on you guys, okay? But that's how I raise capital. But I did want to kind of showcase a couple different ways to do this, okay? So who has raised money through fractional? Good, we got quite a few guys. Awesome, 4 or 5 people. So fractional, great option. I wanted to kind of compare and contrast this. Here, let me get rid of this. Because yeah, I want to compare and contrast these two strategies because I think we'll kind of dig into them as you guys have questions because I think they're both extremely, extremely powerful, okay? So we'll kind of start on the accredited fund. So my fund, which is actually a customizable fund, which I'll share a little bit more later with you guys, that is for accredited investors, right? So if you're going to raise capital and you're going to go through the SEC and go through all the filings, right, which is going to help keep you out of trouble and go through and do it the proper way, you got to make a decision. Are you going to go 506C or 506B, right? The difference is, are you going to only work with accredited investors, which allows you to do all the marketing you want, right, when you do that, or are you going to go with unaccredited, because you can mix unaccredited and accredited investors together, but you can't do, you're much more restricted on marketing. You can only invest with people you have a relationship with. Again, consultant attorney, I'm going off what I know, okay, on that stuff. But you kind of have to make a decision. So I made a decision to invest with accredited investors because I knew there was a lot higher ceiling there, and there's also some other liability things when it comes to accredited investors. Actually, the onus becomes on the investor, the accredited investor, because the SEC assumes that because they're accredited, they have the knowledge to make decisions when it comes to investing. So the onus is really on them if things went sideways, all right? But if you work with unaccredited investors, it can be there can be more liability because they look at them as, hey, we should protect them because they're not accredited. They might not have the financial understanding to make the right decision, okay? So I went the accredited investor route, which is a great way to really scale, okay? But what about all those unaccredited investors, right? As you guys know, in this community, there's so many people that you could raise money from that aren't accredited, right? And that was a problem I was trying to solve. And fortunately, thanks to Stella and Fractional, they've provided me a great opportunity to go now raise from unaccredited investors, okay? Because now I can have, like right now, I have our fractional offering is minimum of $10,000. And anybody can invest in that. So to me, I'm able to manage the best of both worlds, right? Because I can work with unaccredited people, and I can get them into my pipeline, and I can actually help with my Mount Everest, which is to help 100 families achieve financial freedom, right? And to do that, but with those 100 families, a lot of them are not accredited when they start, but I still wanted to be able to help them. So thanks to Fractional, I can get them in and do deals with them, okay? But on the flip side, you got the Fractional. So I'm going to pause here. Do you guys want me to go deeper into this or any questions on kind of the two different types of, we'll call them vehicles to invest with or to raise money through? Any questions? Or you guys want to get to the one-on-ones? Do I got any volunteers? Ready? All right, good. You guys are ready to go. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to just go right into the volunteers, and we could pull up into these slides to illustrate any points, but I wanted to kind of give you guys the high-level part first. Oh, one last thing. Can I ask you guys to scan one more QR code for me? This one is actually a presentation I did with Owners Club, but I condensed it because I know you guys are probably like me and you only have so much time, and there is so much content and stuff out there. This is a presentation I did for Owners Club on accredited investors through my customizable fund. Okay, like we'll see if we get time today to go into what a customizable fund is. But this video, if you guys go scan the QR code, if you guys don't mind, comment on it, help the algorithm, and follow me. All right, I don't got the full room today. Like who was that? Was that Kathy did? Yeah, she's doing incredible things. But maybe I can get 20 more people from you guys. All right, but yes. Yes, go for it. Ooh. Wow. Ooh. Yes. Yeah, can you guys, so thank you. All right, and you know what? I learned from you today, Kathy. It's okay to ask. Yes, okay, I'll repeat it. Okay, so Kathy was saying that, oh, actually, yeah, she just teed me up perfectly. Or I'll just go with it. So, if you don't mind, if everybody follows if you have your YouTube page, if they all follow it once, they actually, it penalized you. Yeah, it thought it was a bot. Yes, organic. Yeah, exactly. So, can you guys do me a big favor and scan it? And please follow me, that'll help me a ton. But go to this video and just put a quick comment on it. All right. Dang it. I don't know why that keeps going. Thank you. All right. There we go. Hopefully that'll stay like that. But I'll give you guys, anybody a chance who hasn't done it yet. So just a little bit more on the video. When you guys watch this, it's going to go into detail about customizable funds, which I'll give it to you in like 30 seconds. All right. So if you want to raise money from accredited investors and go through the SEC, it's about $15,000 to $20,000. Okay. But what I did is I went through a platform called Avestor. I paid that $18,000 one time, okay? And that way I didn't because I wanted to have multiple offerings. And I'll tell you this, one of the most paralyzing things about raising money and a fund is you could do whatever you want. You could structure it however you want. Therefore, that could be paralyzing because you're like, well, what if I do this? And my one investors are telling me they want this, but I want to do debt. But I want to do equity, and I want to do the waterfall, and like there's so many options, right? What I finally landed on, and I show in this video, is with Avestor, I can do as many offerings as I want under one fund, okay? So when I pay for that $18,000 once to set it up, then every time I want to set up a new deal, I just do what's called a new deal disclosure. The deal disclosure is like 7 to 10 pages, and they actually supply you the templates through the Avestor. So you can go build that out and create a new offering. It was crazy, guys. When I did my second offering, I went and pulled a template. I reviewed it with one of the high-level guys at Avestor, and then I sent it to my attorney just to triple check, and I paid probably a couple $100. And I literally had another offering ready to go. So I can go into that a little bit more if you guys have questions when we go through you guys, but I wanted to give you guys that QR code, because like Kathy, trying to grow our following, and hopefully I can bring you more value through the videos, which I think you're doing an awesome job of. But hopefully I can bring you value there, but check out the video, okay? You guys ready to get to our volunteers? Okay, let's go there. Okay, who wants to go first? I saw a couple over here. I got 3 over there. Let's go, Matthew. You want to go up for it? So you're welcome to, I can come to you, or you can come up. There's not really anywhere to sit. What do you want to do? Bring the chair. There we go. Let's do that. That's right. That's what I was debating. What do you guys like? All right, I'll walk to you guys. Yes. You know what? Let's bring the chair if you guys are comfortable. But if you're not comfortable and you want me to come to you, I'm happy to. But it is being recorded. They did ask me to stay up here because I'm not Pace and I can't walk around everywhere. Ooh. No. Yes, there we go. Of course, they're right behind you. One step ahead of us. Cool, man. We get a chair. Awesome, buddy. So the format will be give us a kind of quick summary in a couple minutes of your scenario or what you want to ask about or your problem or whatever you're going through, and then we'll break it down for a couple minutes, and we're going to be up here for a while.
Well, Casey, I appreciate you being the leader that you are and giving us all the value that you have. You're an incredible, incredible leader within our community. I closed out a fractional raise last week on Tuesday, and it was an incredible experience. I'm a huge fan of what Zaza's doing. I'm taking a pretty big swing in this next step in my career. I have a 506c. We have 27 and a half of the 30 raised, and I've pushed my network to its utmost. Like, I'm like, hey, Casey, do you have any friends? In fact, we had that conversation.
Last night.
Yes, last night, right.
Yep.
So in the position that I'm in today, what would you advise me to do, knowing that I've pushed my sphere of influence to its utmost to get to the point of 27.5 million raised?
Yeah, 27.5 and out of 30?
Out of 30, including closing costs and fees. It's like, if it's a marathon, bro, I've ran 22 miles. I'm like right there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to suggest this one, but I know how smart you are, so you've probably done it. But I'm sure some of you other guys maybe haven't thought of this. The biggest one is this room, right, and where you're at, and just letting us in. Like, I love what Kathy did today. Like, get it out there and get it at scale so people know what you're up to.
So
right?
If you're an accredited investor, I've got 204 units in Lubbock, Texas, and I'd love to partner with you.
Yes, seriously. But that's, because here's what I found is, I'll share one other quick story. It's a longer one. I actually did my creative podcast yesterday, actually filmed it with Pace, and it was like, what was your favorite deal? This was another deal I was doing a year ago when I was coming to Owners Club, and it was a deal that I almost didn't come. I had to raise 1.7 million, and I wasn't even close. And I'm like, I can't go to Owners Club in Scottsdale because I need to stay home and get on the phones and just start calling people, work my CRM, raise this money, right? Probably like you're thinking, I can't go, I got to raise this money. But I had this, luckily, I don't know what shifted it. It probably was a Zoom that I listened to Pace or something. And I'm like, you know what? I got to go because I'm going to be in the room with all the right people. And even if they don't invest, they're going to know the right people who can. So literally, guys, that's exactly what I did. I started telling people, and literally, think about this. In the same seats you guys are sitting today, a year ago, we actually, during one of the breakout sessions, I went out with a couple Owners Club. They were pulling somebody from their sphere of influence, somebody they knew, and we're on a Zoom call talking about, hey, how do we put this deal together? And we literally put the deal together that week, right? And it was way more dramatic because my seller tried to back out, and we closed it on like the Southwest flight in. Southwest actually had Wi-Fi for once, and I was closing the deal. It's a long story, not for today, but so keep going though.
Yeah, so I guess a follow-up question, something that I see you doing incredibly is social media. Social media, you're crushing it. I recognize that your positioning is more so, hey, I'm a real human being, I'm a family man. For a capital raiser and me looking to really start focusing on social media, do you think I should be positioning myself as Matt the deal junkie or Matt the God willing to be a father like you?
Yeah, I mean, you could make an argument either way, but I've just, from my experience, them seeing what you're all about, like this same family office, it was funny, I was having a conversation with them because I'm like, hey, now, let's scale this. I've got access to deals, you guys got money, right? Let's scale this. And I was talking to one of the more junior guys who was kind of more, I feel like I could resonate with. And he's like, you know what, Casey? Because I pitched this, I presented to him, like they're able to borrow at like 5.5%. And that's actually how we took down this deal. They had a line of credit with JP Morgan at 5.5%. And that's how we ended up funding the bank side of it. And when I heard that, I'm like, wait, you guys can borrow at 5.5? Like we could lend that out all day at 12 or 13 or 15, and make a bunch of money. So I'm presenting this to him. And he goes, you know what? I'll present it to the senior vice president. And he's like, but I think he'll be open to it because the biggest thing, Casey, is he wants to work with people he trusts, right? And that was really it. He's like, he wants to work with people he trusts, and he trusts you, Casey. And I think a lot of that was built through the podcast. These guys also started following me on social media after the podcast. And I just think when they know that, it just goes so much farther. And here's the thing, guys, because this was highlighted a little bit earlier with Pace, and we talk about here's the example I give. When you're going to lunch, like a lot of times you raise money, you meet somebody, you're like, let's go to lunch, let's build some rapport, and that's a good way. That's how a lot of people raise money, is they go to lunch or they go to games or whatever, do something, go to a social hour. But you go there, you very rarely do you ever go to that lunch and they're ready to write you a check. Have you ever had that happen?
I used to do that. I used to be trigger happy. Hey, Casey, let's go to the Dodger game. By the way, let's stop watching the game. Can you give me your money? And that was like the biggest turnoff ever. So I've come to know that that's not the case.
Yes. Yep. So what I learned was, though, still go to the lunches, build the connections, right? But now when I raise money, because I've been consistent for 2 or 3 years, like I just was talking to somebody at lunch just now, and he's like, this is hilarious. He's like, Casey, I see you're all over my TikTok. And I'm like, I've always wondered if anybody sees anything on TikTok, because I don't do anything intentionally there. I do all my stuff on Instagram, push it to Facebook, and pushes to TikTok. But anyway, but he's seen it. So the point is, like, now when I raise money, people have been seeing that for years. And that now when somebody actually reaches out to me, they are ready to write a check. Versus you go to that lunch and it's like nurture, nurture, nurture. Hopefully they trust you. Eventually time it out perfectly when they have the money to invest.
So you've had all those follow-up touches through the social. Okay.
Yep.
So generally when you're working, like let's say I wanted to invest with you, generally I'm going to feel it out and I'm going to give you your minimum. What is your process and cadence towards nurturing that relationship into your next deal? Like with what was it called, the program? A-Version?
A-Vestor.
A-Vestors, right? So your A-Vestors for the first time, they probably, I don't know this Casey guy too well, so I'll give him some cash. Did you work that relationship? Was that you personally? Did your VA work it? Was it a CRM thing? How did you maneuver through that relationship and build it?
You bet. Yeah, it's all the above, right? I think step one, if you really want to start to do this at scale, get a CRM. I use Go High Level, and that's kind of becoming the widely used platform to do, and it's affordable. So get a Go High Level account and start putting in your contacts into Go High Level, right? Because then you don't have to build out all the nurture sequences and all the follow-ups and all that to start. Like eventually that's where you want to get to, right? And to answer your question, that's what we've done is everyone I started bringing into a CRM. Here's another cool hack. I don't have my phone, it's right there. So go through, who listened to Pace's Zoom a couple weeks ago on the contacts in your phone? Anybody listen to that? All right. So if you aren't, pull out your phone and see how many contacts you have. Everybody pull them out really quick. You guys don't have to say them out loud, but kind of take note. All right. So Pace had a really good Zoom on this, and it applies tremendously to raising capital. Because what one of my mentors told me, he goes, Casey, and this is the long way, but he's like, just start calling your contacts or checking in, right? A little hack I do is I just send them voice memos. Like, again, a guy that I haven't talked to since college, or a guy I worked with when I first started at Shell, send him a voice message because I'm like, I want to do this fast, right? In the perfect world, you'd call them all and you'd build some trust. But I'm just like, hey, Brian, checking in on you, man. Haven't seen you forever. Like, what are you up to? You still in Montana? Man, I'm down here in Houston, and I left Shell a couple years ago, and now I'm raising capital, doing deals, but just wanted to check in with you. Just something, but ideally get on the phone with them. And that's one good way. So again, but then I get on the phone with them, build some trust again, rekindle that relationship, and then get them into the CRM. So then to answer your question is, once they're in the CRM, now they get on my drip campaign, which hopefully this is all connecting, guys, because Pace talked earlier about getting the fish, right, and getting them into your CRM. Now you follow up with them and get a cadence of communication. Because here's the other thing. A lot of them, and you probably resonate with this or experience this, a lot of the capital raisers are the people who have funds. They're not all on Instagram, right? They're probably on Facebook or LinkedIn, if we're lucky. MySpace, yes. So a huge part of the CRM is getting them, meeting them at lunch, meeting them somewhere through a friend of a friend, calling them. But some of those people might not ever see you, and maybe the algorithm won't let them see you, but get them into your email drip campaigns, because then I try to now, and that's another tip I would give you, is everything I'm sharing on social media, I'm trying to train my marketing team, those also get put out in emails, right? So they're seeing me in that place too, because that might be the only way some people continue to see me, because they're not on Instagram, right?
Some of us here may not have the experience you do. How can we work with you and raise money maybe for your fund or collaborate with you in that capacity?
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I'll give you guys 2 quick ones. And then, because somebody asked earlier too, they're like, hey, who was it that asked me about the track record? I'm going to go there real quick. We're just out in the hallway. Somebody was asking me, how do I build but how do I raise money if I don't have a track record? Was it, yes, what was your name again? Connie, yes, Connie asked that. So I did want to share this. So that's exactly how okay, let me just show you the track record, okay? So this is one of the best tools that I use for is that the right one? Yes, okay. So this is what I've built, and this is one of the best credibility pieces that I have, and I could recommend to anyone. All right, I wasn't actually scripting this one, but I think might be the best thing you guys take away today. This is a vault, right? This is a vault of every deal I've done. Right now, it's got like 150 deals in there, with complete with links to settlement statements, before and after photos. If you could scroll to the right, you would see how much did I buy it for, what I sell it for, how much did my lender invest, what did he make. So, and now I'm putting my investor testimonials linked in there, right? So it's this huge archive where anybody can do their own due diligence, all right? But to your point, you guys aren't going to be able to start with that, right? That's 15 years of doing deals. So what I'm doing through my current fractional raise, which, again, I'll put that out there. We're in the middle of it.
I was a plant, by the way.
Thank you. You're the man. So we're raising, we've already raised over half of it. We're raising $1 million to do fix and flips through our fractional offering. So to me, the big value, we lost it there, but did it share for a second? Okay. But yeah, maybe, could we share the screen one more time? Okay, perfect. So if you guys can, scan that. So that will get you into my Revive Club, all right? It's a minimum of 10,000, but we're paying 10% on that one, which is kind of funny because when I presented the deal maker, Jamil's like, I explained all the things I'm doing. He's like, you should be giving them 5 with all the value you're bringing. Because guys, it's not about the return. It's about, my goal is to do 20 deals. Like these are going to be fix and flips, some buy and holds, a little bit of new construction, all right? Maybe some small multifamily. But we're going to do as many deals as we can over 24 months, right? And that track record I just showed you, we're going to build that out for our investors. So, because through the beauty of fractional is, they're actually listed on the operating agreement, right? They can actually point to their name to a lender and say, hey, I was part of this deal. And a big part of what we're going to do is like the monthly Zooms, even like weekly updates, so you get to see how we're doing it. So you're not just going to be it on paper, you're going to learn the process. So if you are brand new, that'd be the best way that I would love to help you guys if you're interested.
You're an incredible leader, brother. I
Thanks, buddy.
you.
Appreciate it. All right, who's next? You guys got big shoes to fill after Matt. Should have let Matt go at the end so it didn't discourage anybody. All right, let's go back there. We got plenty of time, guys. Don't worry. I'll talk less and listen more. Perfect. I haven't met you yet.
I'm Dan.
Dan. Casey.
Nice to meet you.
All right, Dan.
So just to kind of just give my background. So I started Gator in June of 2024, and from October to today, just from Gator, I raised like 2.2 million and closed about 44 deals.
Awesome.
So with that being the case, like there's a borrower that I work with, he has like 10 to 15 properties under contract per month. I'm struggling to keep that continuation going, and I've been doing it from strictly the Gator community. I don't really know where to find other people, which I know obviously you're doing from social media and like going out and like to LinkedIn. But I guess I just don't really know the right way to approach that. Like I know with like social media and like Instagram, like you have to do, if you're going to create an account, you have to do like certain things to get yourself into the algorithm, like creating 3 posts a day or something like that, commenting on people's posts. Like what ways do you go about getting your brand through social media really into the algorithm and out there like that, other than
the shortcut.
Yeah.
I wish I had a shortcut, but I will share this. And I'll, so some of you guys, hopefully you guys followed me on Instagram. If any of these, there's a bunch of resources I have and I don't have QR, I don't want to give you another QR code. But I did a presentation a couple years ago. We called it like Ride for the Brand, right? So it was all about knowing it was kind of like knowing what makes you unique, like I started with. And then your job becomes, well, here's the one hack or shortcut you guys have I'll tell you this. This is it right here. The fact that you guys are in this room with and led by such an incredible leader of Pace, giving you all the tools, you guys are so far ahead, right? And the tips he's giving you, like always capturing, right? Like, for example, the killing 5 birds with 1 stone or planning out your week, right? He's always like, take time to capture, okay? Because this presentation that I have that I'll happily send you guys the video for is it's your job is to capture, all right? Everyone in here to start to really raise money at scale and start to do content that's going to help you raise is your sole job is to capture, right? You got to be having, like, I got the phone going right now. Yesterday at the title company, I was in there. I asked a complete stranger that was in line. I'm all by myself. I'm like, hey, will you take a picture of me signing this? And he gave me a funny look, but he did it. Right? But it's always capturing, always having, and as part of that you can invest in some equipment, but you can just use your iPhone. So always capture, capture, capture. That is your number one job as the business owner, okay? Now, when you work down the pipeline is the editing and the distribution, right? That's where you could start to leverage virtual assistants to do all that. I would not, even if you guys are on like a shoestring budget, I would never recommend editing your own videos. Right, you can delegate that off super quick, super easy, and get it done pretty affordably, okay? That way you can be capturing more and doing more deals. So my point is, capture it, and then if you guys need help or resources, there's tons of people who have VAs, and I'd be happy to help, but get VAs that'll edit it and then distribute it. That way you can start being consistent and start it now. So I wish I had a way to like get you 0 to 100 in like 6 weeks, but I would say start now and start showing people. And that's the biggest way to grow it.
Okay. No, thank you for that. The other thing with fractional, because I was thinking about maybe even getting involved with that myself too, but I'm not the borrower. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm just the fund manager for him. So on that aspect, on that aspect, am I able to make my own fractional page?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
That's such a cool. I mean, look what Rhea Campbell's done. Hers, so my understanding of her, and I've talked to her one-on-one about it, is she was able to go raise from a bunch of other different folks, and then she goes and lends it out, and she just makes a spread. Okay. Does that answer it? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure, just because.
Absolutely.
I'm just a part of their team. I'm not the actual borrower, so.
Oh yeah, it's a great model. Honestly, okay. That's the best. I think it's one of the best ways to use fractional is to go out and aggregate money like that, and then you deploy it. And because the lending part, one thing I will share, I didn't share this yet. When you're raising capital, holy cow, this is a really good one. Okay, so when you're raising capital, raising debt versus equity is so much harder to raise and so much more complicated to articulate, right? Because if you confuse, you lose, right? But like my first really big fund, the one that I did a year ago and I closed out here at Owners Club, was I was going back and forth between like an equity and like I would pay him back. Okay, for example, I was going to pay him interest, and then when I refinanced, I was going to pay them all back, and then I was going to give them a little piece of the ownership, right? Some of you guys have probably seen that done before. But then most of my investors who are kind of sophisticated, they were like, wait, but how do you calculate your ROI on that? It's impossible, right? Because you give them a return for a while, and then it goes to infinite, and they're trying to compare that apples to apples. And what I found was I was just confusing people. So what I landed on is like, I'm just going to pay 15% debt, which was pretty aggressive, or I was giving up a lot to do the deal, but I'm like, but I wanted to keep it simple. So my point is, guys, if you're just starting to raise money, debt is so much, it's a little more riskier, right? Equity is a better way to kind of de-risk some of your downside, but debt is so much simpler and so much easier for people to understand. Like, I can't overstress that enough. If you're starting out, keep it simple and easy.
And then what was the best tool that you used to make you be able to scale the most?
The best tool? Yeah, I think it really is it's a CRM. It's like a go high level account to be able to capture, because you're going to have so many, man, and I got a new one that's coming. I don't quite have it yet, but the first thing is capturing the CRM and capturing all those conversations and putting people in pipelines and sharing the notes. Like, just an easy hack you guys can do is every single call, go get a free Fathom account or Firefly or one of those AI note takers and then just get that link and copy and paste that into Go High Level. That way, when you need to go follow up with that investor again, you can come right back to that conversation. Because as you start doing this at scale, it's impossible to remember everybody. And then I'm working with some AI stuff that's going to help use AI to remember all these different conversations. But I think that's it. You've got to have a CRM. Are you using a CRM right now, or just kind of Google Sheet or something?
Using the free version of HubSpot.
Okay.
But, I've had experience with like Salesforce and stuff like that, but I haven't really gone too far into it too much. We kind of just built out like a small network of like second position lenders that do like 150 of them or so.
Okay.
But I haven't been getting too much out of it because I don't personally really know them. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're kind of people that I came into contact with through other people. So I haven't really built that relationship yet with them. So I'm still flying that out.
But one more thing, Dan, that I'll add to it is when I joined Avestor, the other cool thing about it is not only it built out my customizable fund and they handle all the administrative stuff, all the back end, they had a really cool mastermind that I was got to be a part of just for starting, having an account with them. So that's been a huge tool for me because they have weekly Zooms, and like they also have masterminds where you can go in person. So I learn from a lot of other people that are doing it at a high level. So I think that's probably been, and they gave me, okay, if you want one course like capital raising, like on steroids, it's Lance Peterson. Again, I'll share these links with you guys, but Lance Peterson has a course. That's how I built out everything. So I'll explain it really quick. Because if you want like an out of the box, like I want to have a capital raising machine, that's what Lance Peterson has, and it's actually free with Avestor. They just give you access. This is like should be a $10,000 or $20,000 course. But what Lance does is he helps you get really clear on he calls it your magnetic message, right? What makes you unique? Like what's unique about how you lend money, right? Dan would be like, hey, I lend to these operators that I've been working with for years that I can trust and I know how to underwrite, right? So you build out that magnetic message, and then you use that magnetic message to start building out your content. Right, so now you can make some long form, and then you can cut that into the short form, and he gives you and then build your website. He's got what's called a 90-day checklist, which is like, I think there's probably 30 different things on that list that you really should start to do if you're gonna raise money. One of them is that track record that I built out. I learned that from Lance. Lance says, he's like, if you can't point your investors to all your deal flow and give them all the data, then you shouldn't be raising money, at least at scale, was a big thing I learned. So anyway, that's one tool. If you're like, hey, I want to take it to the next level, and you've got at least 90 days, and you're going to be serious. Like if you're going to do this long term, I would invest in that.
What was it called again?
It's Lance Peterson. You guys can just Google his website. But if you guys can't find that link, I'll share it with you. Again, follow me. I'll DM me. I'll give it to you guys.
And then my last question is, what's the top 5 platforms that you recommend to do capital raising with?
Ooh, top 5 platforms. Like in terms of social media?
So whatever you feel like would be beneficial.
Yes. I'll use Go High Level. I'll use an easy one for CRM. I'd say LinkedIn, right? I think we could all agree that the majority of it depends on your network, right? But I think a lot of us would agree our network, the people who have capital to invest are on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is also kind of one that's not as tapped, right? So I think LinkedIn, and then I honestly, Facebook is probably better than Instagram right now. But I'm similar to Pace. I'm still doing a ton of reps and doing Instagram and doing that all the time. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Go High Level, and another platform. Anybody else got a good one that you guys are using? Those are the main ones. X, Twitter, X. Those would be my top ones. But the key is trying to think of other platforms or softwares. Yeah, and then I think another tool, which there's lots of them out there, I don't have one off the top of my head, but getting like a social media calendar and because there's ways where you can just schedule out all your posts. That would be another kind of next level step, is to schedule out all your posts and use a software to do that.
Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you.
Nice to meet you.
All right, who's next? Let's go right here. All right, then I'm coming over. Who is next? All right. Go ahead. No, you're coming. Yeah, you're coming now. Let's do it. How are we doing for time? What's that? 2:39. We got another hour. Plenty of time. And feel free, if you guys want to jump into something or have something that is related, I want to make sure we get to everybody's questions, so we don't have to, we can keep it informal. All right, Tyler.
All right, so I've got campground just locked in this week.
Nice.
$2.7 million, thank you. $2.7 million purchase on seller finance at 5.5% interest. We're trying to raise $450,000 for the down payment of this property. My question to you, and it sounds like I don't have a track record, right? Or at least one that's not known. I've done fix and flips. I've ran camper van business on Oahu. And I worked as a general contractor for commercial construction for several years. But not many people know about that on Instagram and stuff like that. And now I'm jumping into having to raise this $450,000 within like a month and a half, right? So what would you recommend at this point? We're going live with fractional next week, so I'm going to be posting that out for you guys if anybody's interested. So thank you, Stella. You're awesome for the fractional platform, especially for us newbies to all of this. So yeah, what would you recommend for me at this stage in getting out there and getting people
Doing it? Okay. First off, yeah, if I were going to pick a platform, like go with a fund or fractional in this scenario, hands down fractional, right? I think for a smaller amount like that, it's totally doable. Another one nice thing that Stella will do is, so you get it started, right? You want to create momentum, but Stella's really good at helping promote you, right, inside of the community. But then I would also leverage other people once you get it live, right? Because I'll even share with mine, right? I did mine at Dealmaker about 3 weeks ago. Great response, but you're still just like I've yet to have anybody who's like, oh, I don't love the terms, or I don't like this. Like, everybody loves it, but it's still like, you got to push them and prod them to get them to invest. Like Pay said today, right? Like, you got to move them forward. So the key is, yeah, I would go through there, and then I would leverage the community to help you get in front of people, because it's like there's so much going on, and you just got to find a way to where they see your deal and you stay front and center.
Okay, awesome, thank you. And then the other thing too with Instagram posts, I'm having a really hard time actually just getting in and doing it, not motivated at all, or I get stuck in making this post, and I'm like, okay, how do I do a reel? Do I do a story? Do I add music to this? Do I need to, and I'm kind of getting stuck. Something you mentioned about is just hiring someone to edit your videos. I have all these ideas of how I want to kind of create the story, but I have no desire to focus in on that. What would you recommend with that?
Ooh, you guys want to see a cool tool? All right, I'll give you guys a really
is there
cool
like
one.
an AI tool that helps with that? Is there?
Who's listened to Nick Fisher talk about Limitless? Anybody seen these? So these are on the Owners Club Vault. You guys can go back and listen to them. So check this out. This is LifeLog. Can you guys see my screen? Okay. All right. So I'll check this out. Another hack that you guys didn't know that you were going to get. Okay. So I'll pull it out. My little. Yep. There. Oh, a little bit. Okay. Yes, I will. But first off, so see this little pendant? This is called a pendant from Limitless. The cost is like $300. All right. It's super affordable. Just don't lose this thing because it's small, and it's like I lost mine, and I felt like I didn't have my phone. It was like, I hated it. But anyway, this is capturing everything, right? It's capturing all my thoughts. It's got a long battery to where it goes all day. It's capturing my conversation so I don't forget stuff, right? This is when I mentioned about my CRM. My goal is to actually plug this into my CRM so that I can keep track of conversations that I have this week, right? We're having so many conversations this week, but how do you keep track of them all? So this is helping me, right? But check this out. This all plugs into Limitless, right? This is it comes in here. So now I can just query this. So originally my advice was going to be, Tyler, just go use ChatGPT. On a simple level, just go to ChatGPT and say, I'm raising money for this deal. I need $250,000, and this is what I'm passionate about, and this is why I think people should invest. Like, give me 3 scripts or 3 reels, 3 viral reels, right? It'll just give it to you, which I think a lot of you guys know to do that. But in terms of implementation, like literally, you don't need to just, because what's hard is to go get that script and try to deliver it all the way through without stopping.
Exactly.
It sucks. It's not fun. I'm not good at it, and I do a ton of content. Here's the thing. Have you noticed that on all the Instagrams, like the screen changes like every couple seconds, every like 3 seconds? Yeah, so you just splice it up. Read one sentence. Read it. Get your notes, or get a phone, maybe get your computer. That's what I would do, is I would have my script on my computer, I'd have my phone here, and I would just, to start out, I would just talk through it, one sentence at a time. And then you're gonna do it so much faster because you're not gonna have to take 20 takes, all right? And then it's actually gonna be better content on the algorithm because it's moving. Like the videos that perform the best have cuts and they're constantly moving. So literally, everyone can go implement a piece of content like that. Literally just follow a script. So now the cool thing about Limitless, to take this to the next level, is I'll be like, all right, give me a viral reel based on my conversation with, who should I go? With, who did I have a good conversation with?
Tyler Child.
Yeah, with Tyler. I wonder if it'll track you on the plane. It probably won't. Let's see if, I know Stella's in here. I was talking to Stella last night about raising the final, say, 400K of my fractional offering. Real script. I should make sure I'm real script. Yeah, it's 300 for it's the full year. You get the pennant and the full year. I haven't looked if it's another 300 every year. It might be. But you for sure get it for a year and get the pennant and everything. Script in 30 seconds. So I'm not LifeLog. Yeah, so it's Limitless. LifeLog is just like how you go ask it questions. All right? I didn't tell Stella I was going to do this, by the way. But we were chatting last night about our fractional offering. So look at this. Okay. Hey, guys. Yeah. Let's see if I can zoom in. Okay. Everybody see it now? Okay. Hey, guys, quick update. Yesterday I was talking to Stella, and we realized we were down to the final 400K of our fractional offering. Stop. Right? And then next one. That's right. Over $500,000 already raised. This is your last chance to get in before we close it out. Minimum of 10K. You get to partner with me on real deals, build your track record, and earn 10% returns. Stop. Right? And maybe even twist your angle. Now maybe I stand this way with my video. Right? Spots are flying. If you know someone else who does, DM me now or tag them. Let's finish strong. And it gives me my text overlay. Right? That's awesome. Isn't that cool?
That's really awesome.
And it's pulling, and that's why it's next level. It's like, because if you're also talking to this, think about all the conversations you have during the day and all the meetings, right? And Pace talks about killing 5 birds with 1 stone. That's why I'm really excited about this, because it's taking all my thoughts and helping me that's helping me make content that's unique to me, right? ChatGPT, you can train it, but this is just to really make it unique to you.
It's also something that you can just randomly have a thought and speak it out loud and it'll catch it. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Exactly. Did you guys catch that from Tyler? Like, you could just be talking, like, some of you guys, give me an example of like when you have your best thoughts. When you guys have your best, like Pace calls it your magic time. Car rides. What else? Middle of the night, when you wake up. Yes. In the shower, yes. Yep, mine are like when I'm working out or running, right? And finally, like I get all these ideas that flood into my head when I'm running, but I can't capitalize them, right? But now they all come here. So if you guys don't have one of these, send me a direct message and I'll send you guys a link so you can get it. I got an affiliate link, yes.
Heck yeah.
I'll hook you guys up. Go ahead.
So it reports it there, and then you go on your account, and then you can ask it as far as the day before, or how do you get from here to...
Yes, Glenna. So it captures all of it, right? And it can query, like, it's capturing every day. So I could go back to, like, based on my last month, give me my, like, whatever. It's literally, yeah, you could ask it whatever. But it's capturing everything as long as you've been doing it. So if you start it next week, I mean, obviously it doesn't know what you said today, but that's why when I lost this thing for a week, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to remember all this? But I didn't even have this tool. No, you guys don't even have the tool now, but hopefully you guys will.
So is there an AI that you use to help make your reels more fancy, or like speak to text type thing? I know there's several reels you've had that were speak to text.
Yes.
Or, yeah.
I just follow, that's the other thing too. Ooh, and if you guys aren't doing this, well, once you start watching it, you'll get fed over and over. But because I've watched other people, there's so much content on making content now. Is anybody else getting fed that? Where people are like, They're making money by showing you how to post. And there's hacks all the time. So I have a social media manager in, I think, Pakistan now. So now I just send it to her. I'm like, hey, I like that. But for you guys now, just watch those and just make little tweaks. But the blueprint's out there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Good, man.
That's all I have.
Awesome. Ooh, great question. What was your name? Greg. Yes, Greg. Very, very, very good point. Okay, back to the man behind the bars. Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate you.
Mike's on the.
Okay, perfect. So, and we're going over here next. I'll answer the question. Okay, I'll go to the question. I'll answer his first, but you can come on up, the next guest. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Josh. Yeah, you come up. Okay, Greg. So, not mentioning returns. Yes. Yeah, good point. Because in that script, what did I say? Build your track record. Yes. So my phrasing is always a potential 10%, right? So like on that deal, yes, you do want to be very careful. Greg made a really, really good point. You don't ever want to say, I'm giving you 10% returns or 12% or whatever. Like, ideally, don't even say anything on your, if you're not okay, I will say this. If you are not registered through the SEC and have an accredited fund, I probably would be careful saying anything about percentages. I mean, you can go and say, hey, I partnered with Josh and I gave him 10% and we just got done finished this deal. Josh is really happy. Like, again, I'm not an attorney, but from what I understand, that is okay, right? But if you don't have an accredited fund and you're talking about returns and numbers, that's a definite no-no. Everybody got that? I'm glad you asked that. So that is, good question, right? So even if you guys go through fractional, I got to be careful what I'm advising here. But if you don't have a fund registered through the SEC and you're talking about returns and doing marketing on social media, you're starting to blur the lines, right? Because again, when I told you about unaccredited fund versus accredited, it's 506C versus B, which don't mind about the numbers, right? But the accredited one, you could do marketing, right? And you're free to do it. But on what you can't do is have an unaccredited fund or not be registered and be doing a bunch of marketing on social media to cold outreach to people you don't even know and have them coming in and investing with you without a prior relationship, right? That's kind of the line and where it distinguishes. So through fractional, it's a little bit different because this is really good, all right? This is part of that presentation or that video, that first YouTube one I shared with you guys, where I shared it with Owners Club. It's all about passive versus active, okay? So if people are passive investors, meaning they are not actively making decisions, that's when we have to follow all the security laws, okay? But the way fractional works is they're actually co-owners, right? They're making decisions. But even so, I was talking to Stella last night, you can only max up to 100 people on that one, okay? But the key difference is they are active members, right? They're active decision makers, okay? But I would still be careful about doing I would be very cautious of doing paid ads for a fractional offering, okay? Because you could start to be blurring the lines.
Can I add
Does that make sense? Go ahead. Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Because this is a slippery one.
So I consulted with a securities attorney, and I was billed 4 hours at $450 an hour. I only wanted to do 1 hour, but then I was like, can I email you some questions so that we can make our time more efficient? But then he wrote back like all these responses, but then when I got billed, he was like, well, 3 hours was for responding to your questions. So I was like, okay, but then he was cool, he reduced 1 hour. But then my creative director, Ross, you guys seen him around here with the camera, he gave me a really good idea to use ChatGPT. And so I've been using that, it gives you really good information. And because he was like, it knows the laws better than some attorneys may. So you can use ChatGPT to answer probably most of the basic questions, and then you could still consult with an attorney to, just to save some money. Which was one of the questions I had, Casey, which by the way, on my flight here, I was sitting there, and then all of a sudden this guy sits down, and I look, and it was Casey. So we got to chat
it was
on
awesome.
the flight here. But, with fractional, regarding SEC guidelines and marketing, Stella told me that, we can market as an investment club because that's technically not a security. But then when I asked my securities attorney, he said it's more about substance than form, and if the investors still play a pretty passive role, even though they're just voting on the deal, but besides that, they're not doing much. He still thinks it can be regarded as a security, so marketing could still cause issues. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a really good point. I went through the same thing, right? I heard about, fractional, how are they able to do this, right? And how to make sure. So I went back to my securities attorney and I said, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Because my question to him was, can I do all my marketing, which somebody might be thinking this right now, can I do all my marketing for Bighorn Capital, my accredited fund, and then knowing that I also have an unaccredited fund going on at the same time, right? And honestly, if you asked 10 people to raise capital, I bet you get 10 different answers. So really consult your attorney and make your own opinion and make your own decision based on your risk level. But yeah, when I talked to my securities attorney, he's like, they are two separate things, right? You have your accredited fund and you have your unaccredited one. So that's how I drew the separation. But as far as answering your question, yeah, I agree. I would be cautious for sure, because it just depends, and especially in California. When it comes down, if a deal goes sideways, actually, I don't know, I should let Stella. Stella, would you add anything to it? I've been asking, making sure
Oh, Stella, you're right there.
Yeah. I don't want to put you in the spot, but I don't want to misspeak as well. Can we get Stella a mic? Okay, there we go. Yeah, let's give her a hand.
So we actually brought on the former senior counsel of the SEC to join our team, and he worked with us to design the entire platform to make sure that all of the projects that are on the platform are not security. So if you do want to do something where you want your investors to be passive, then as Casey said, you should run those as a syndication or a fund. Do not run those on fractional. Everything on fractional does involve your investors being active. So with an investment club, for instance, PACE is actually launching a $2 million investment club on fractional just in an hour or so at 4 p.m. And everyone joining PACE's investment club, they are actually partnering with him to lend out money to borrowers. And pretty much every time there is a deal, Pace and his team, they are bringing in the deal, their underwriting process, and then every single investor is doing their own due diligence, doing their own underwriting. They can jump onto the Zoom and underwrite the deal with Heather, and then they get a vote, yes or no, on if they think the club should move forward with deploying the capital. That is very active, right? That is literally your entire job as a lender, is to underwrite and decide if you want to lend money or not. So that is exactly what we mean by active participation. Voting isn't just, it is active, right? Like you are actively making a decision and saying, yes, I did the homework, I think this is right, this is the job of an investor. So that's how we make sure everything is tracked from a compliance perspective. All that activity is recorded on the platform, and the SEC actually has a definition for what an investment club is, and they have labeled it as not a security.
Perfect. Thank you, Stella.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Yeah, we'll go there, and then we'll come back to Josh. Go ahead. Somebody else had one.
Yes, you can invest as your SDRA. Great question. So with SDRAs, what they are primarily looking for is just arm's length and no personal use of the property. So it really just depends on the investment strategy, right? Like if you are doing a project that is maybe a long-term rental or short-term rental, then if you're using your SDRA, you definitely don't want yourself to be someone who is the property manager or personally staying at the property or having family that is benefiting from the project. So that's where it's not okay. But if you're investing through your SDRA and the project criteria is lending, then you're still arm's length personally from the transaction.
Good. Well, cool. Well, I'll keep going. I want to get a couple more questions. Or keep more. Yeah, you're good. Absolutely.
Okay. The reason I came here was Nelly and Amy Rendy brought me in on a project yesterday that they have under contract. It's a 20-unit in Michigan, and it's going to provide housing for domestic violence survivors. because what happens is when they leave, they go into a shelter, but after 90 days, they have to leave the shelter. And in most cases, they don't have a place to go, so they end up going back to the abuser. And these women are just kind of trapped in these situations, and they're just taking the abuse for the children. So we're looking to raise $500,000 by July 30th. So it's kind of a short timeline, so I wanted to get your advice on how you would go about that.
Yes. Yes. Well, so yeah, similar to Dan, I think it was, or no, who had, there was another, yeah, no, sorry, Tyler. Yeah, similar there. I think fractional is a good fast offering versus trying to get all the funds and all the documents and everything going. I'm gonna come to something in a second. I got one other slide I'm gonna share with you guys, because as far as like the passive versus active investors, I got another example for you guys. But I'll echo what Pay said earlier this morning, right? Like, you guys got to be raising money like 6 to 12 months ahead of time, right? Because it's stressful, and it's going to be stressful. And all my deals are still stressful, and I'm constantly raising money, right? But you really got to be over raised. So I really, honestly, I think the best cheat code is this community and just being active and helping people and sharing what you're doing. And I'm glad you shared it right there.
Yeah, if anybody is interested or has a heart for that, please let us know. Thank you.
You bet. Thanks, Josh. Who's next? I thought there was one more. Okay, we'll go here. Yes. What was your name? Dina. Okay. Yeah. Such a good question. And I've got this one a lot. And this is, so again, I'm kind of today juxtaposing like fractional versus a fund, right? So the best solution to that is having a customizable fund, because what I can do now is, because I have a customizable fund, if you guys remember earlier, I said the beauty of a fund is you can do whatever. I mean, really, it's very flexible. I won't say whatever you want, but it's very, very flexible. So I've seen people structure deals to where they will go out and get what's called soft commitments for a deal, right? They'll actually, so you can do it two ways. You can go get soft commitments and then show them the business plan and go acquire the properties, okay? That's one way. The other way is you could be like, hey, I'm gonna raise $1 million, for hypothetically, to do this strategy, right? And I actually want you to put your money in. You can ask, say, part of my documents say, or part of my deal disclosure is we're going to raise $1 million. And until we raise $1 million, we won't start. And you could also say, if I don't get to $1 million, I'll pay everybody back and it's no harm, no foul, okay? These, again, you can write the documents however you want. But you could say, let's say that after I raise $1 million, then we're going to go out and start acquiring properties, right? But let's say you're trying to acquire a big property or something happens and it doesn't go through, right? Or there's some delay, right? Because so really good advice I've gotten over the years is you want to be careful raising too much money. Because I've been like, you got to raise it. But then when you raise it, now you got to start providing a return, right? So many capital raisers have told me that you got to be very careful. And this has really been like the death sentence for some capital raisers is they raise the money and now they got to go deploy it. And now they're forced to go buy deals. And maybe now they loosen their underwriting or, you know what I mean? Like, because they got to go deploy capital. So the best way to mitigate it is, hey, write it into your documents that we're going to go out and do X, Y, Z, but we're not going to start accruing interest or preferred return or whatever it is until we do a deal. That way it gives you some runway to like go find the deal and you aren't up against it. You know what I mean? Does that help? The problem is, though, is pitching that. I'll be honest with you, like, not everybody. Yep. Yes. So the beauty of Dealmaker is, like, those people want to invest in you, right? And if you have a compelling story and you're passionate about it, I think you could successfully raise on Dealmaker. Even if you don't have everything fully solidified, like the more concrete you have, the better. But my advice is always keep it very simple. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how much money I'm raising, and keep it very simple, right? And then you could still go find the deals and do all that later. But I think Dealmaker is the best stage to try to go do that. And I wouldn't be scared of it. Like, if you're ready, seriously, yes, do it. Do it. And it's nerve-wracking, guys, but if anybody else is having reservations about Dealmaker, it is so easy. And I found, so the scariest part, I'll give you guys the secret of Dealmaker. Ready? So the scariest part is they only give you like, the first time I did it, they're like, you got 5 minutes. And I'm like, 5 minutes? To go through like a whole pitch, and they give you like this outline. And I'm like, and that's what made me so nervous to get on stage, is like, I got to go really, really fast through all this and make sure I nail it. But what I found was, you got to keep it short, and you can't get long-winded. But what you got to do is you got to get through the pre-run with Birdie and Luz and all this, and hopefully they might be mad at me that I'm saying this. But what I learned was get through the pre-run, keep it concise enough, and then when you get out there, you just let it go. There's no time clock, right? Like I thought that there would be like it'd be Shark Tank, like 5 minutes, Casey, stop, or we're moving on, right? But as long as you can, like Birdie and Luz will give you such great feedback of your length, but just once you get it there, and then you just get to go out there and just relax and be yourself, and you'll do great. What else? I want another guess. Who's my next guest? Come on. We got to have, all right, perfect. Perfect. And who's next? You guys I want some more brave. I talked to a bunch of people in the hallway that were ready for it. All right, good. I knew I could get you guys going. There we go. Louvier. All right. Go ahead. You're good.
Sweet. How's it going? My name's Darren Prasad, y'all. Flew in from Phoenix. And I actually have investment properties in the Fiji Islands right now. So
nice.
Me and my uncle are acquiring a hotel, and then I also have an Airbnb community that I've been selling by the lot. So I haven't gotten into raising capital yet for that project. I've just been, they're all subdivided, and I've just been selling them by the quarter acre. But a lot of people have told me, like, hey, you should raise capital, maybe buy like 5 or 10 of them and build it up and, cash flow on them or sell them. So what would be your first advice? I know international lending might be a little different, but what would be like your first advice or like next steps you would, potentially tell me to take?
To start, okay. And where are you at right now? You haven't raised anything yet, and what have you done in the past?
So out of 27 lots, there's 15 remaining right now.
Okay.
But they've been selling singularly, but there is big potential to be able to, take on all of them, at once. But I just don't know how to go about taking that first step to raise that capital.
Okay, got it. But you haven't raised anything for this deal,
No,
right?
not for this
deal,
no.
Have you raised for other deals?
No, I haven't raised any capital myself, no.
Perfect, that's okay. Anybody else like that hasn't raised anything? That's okay. Love it, okay. So another hack I'll give you guys that I learned. When I first started going down this fund, I was like, I'm gonna raise a fund. I went and paid my attorney the 15 grand, because it was several years ago, it wasn't quite as expensive. But I went through and I did it, and I'm trying to go raise for this multifamily value add that was like, it was a home run. It was a great deal. I was doing the thing, right? I was going to all the lunches, getting great feedback. Everybody loved it, right? They're like, oh, I love your story, love what you're doing. And I was super active doing a lot of deals. But what I found was this was an equity deal, and it was a little bit confusing, and I hadn't ever raised a big equity deal. So what I found was, and at first I'm like, man, this is stressful, and I got to close this deal, and I can't lose it. But what I found was, I presented to a lot of people. So if you hear this, Darren, and other people, I would get the reps or the deal maker, right? Get out there and pitch a deal to get the reps, okay? Yeah. Now, because what I did is that deal, I pitched it to probably 10 to 15 people. They didn't do the deal. I ended up finding one partner that had a bigger balance sheet and could take it down, all right? And we took down this big multifamily together. And what I did was I documented everything from that deal. Okay. And not out of like retribution, but I was like, I'm gonna show all the people that didn't invest what they missed out on, right? So I started capturing it on social media. Every time I'd go to the property, I'd be recording, providing updates, right? So I did, that was the one first big thing, was I documented as much as I could so I could build my track record for the next one. The other big thing was I realized that, and this is where I think the advice helps you or somebody starting out, is I was like, I've been raising money, private money for years from people in first or second position, right, on a single property. That's much, much easier. So what I found was I still had a good pipeline and I was having success doing that. So I'm like, I'm gonna focus on that but I'm gonna double down on it and try to get way more people into my fix and flip deals, because It's just so much easier for your people to understand, right? Because they got a security on one property, and you could put, if you're fixing and flipping, you can put a finite amount or a term on it, right? So what I did was like, I'm going to do that as many times as I can. I'm going to pay back as many people as I can. And those people are the ones that I'm going to groom and get comfortable to go do the bigger equity deals.
Right.
So I think in your scenario, you might not be ready to fund it on there. You might have to go find somebody else to partner and raise with you.
Right,
But
right.
that's going to give you credibility.
Okay.
And then in the meantime, try to do the little ones, right? Go raise $30,000 on your fix and flip. Like go buy a sub 2 and then go finance the rehab, the 30K with a private money lender and get a rep, right? And build a testimonial and just keep doing it like that. And that's how you could stack it and really start to be successful.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. I appreciate that. And I think that's where I was struggling was, trying to paint the picture on the cash-on-cash return if I am going to be taking on, multiple at a time. Because, I mean, the ones we've sold, it's just been like all cash. Everyone's just coming in and just buying it. But no,
Yeah, if you could split them up, if there's a way to split them up,
Yeah.
it's way more digestible. And it's just, eventually you want to get to and I'm telling you, the individual stuff is a lot more paperwork, okay?
Yeah.
But you're going to get the reps, and eventually you'll be ready to have the fun, which is much more scalable.
Absolutely, no, that helps a lot. And then I also did want to let you know I've been doing social media too. So I just tonight I'm releasing my first YouTube video. I just want to
Really?
take this chance. Shout out to Kathy. I'm pulling a Kathy right now. But if you guys want to help a brother out and follow me on YouTube, it's Darren Does Deals. I interviewed Brad Kreider from Owners Club. He owns a burger spot. He's an attorney and does a bunch of fix and flips. So it's going into his business, kind of like a Guys, Diners, Drivers, and Dive feel to it, like kind of
love
like
it.
a TV show feel to it.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, it's my first one, and I would appreciate the support. And if I can support you guys in any way, I'd love to do that. And but yeah, that's what I got going on, man. Doing deals in Fiji, but just trying to learn how to raise capital. I feel like that's like my next call in here. And then my business partner, she's in the co-living side right now, so that's what, the reason why we got into Owners Club. And another just fun fact, I'm actually one of the maroon shirts as well, but this year we decided to jump in and take a leap to get into Owners Club. So we've actually been on the New Reach side, and
Oh, really?
about 6 of us took the leap of faith and invested into
That's right.
being an Owners Club. Yeah.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
How about it? Love it. Couple more things, but yeah, if you guys didn't hear it, Darren Does Deals.
Darren Does Deals on YouTube, and then even on Instagram, Darren Does Deals. The tag is Drip Real Estate for Instagram, but if you just tap in Darren Does Deals, it'll pop up.
Sweet. So one other thing I'll add to you, and it can apply to a lot of the questions I've heard so far, is when you're raising money through Gator or through Sub 2, it can be very competitive, right? There's a lot of people looking to raise money. It can be overwhelming. So this would be some advice I would give all of you is every one of you guys comes from a different background, right? What were you doing before you started here in New Reach?
Man, I actually was doing a lot. I was in the entertainment industry, and then I also was playing a little bit of pro soccer until I busted my knee, and then I got this beautiful opportunity to be with Sub 2 since the launch.
Perfect.
So that's where my real estate interest and everything grew, was because of Pace Morby. So
There you go.
Yeah.
So Darren has production background. Think all those people you work with there, you have connections there that you could lean into. The professional sports,
yeah.
Heck yeah, right? So mine is oil and gas, as I mentioned. Like I can relate to those guys. When I'm talking to them, I can build out my content, my marketing, my pitch decks, like everything. I can speak their language. So every one of you guys is unique, and a lot of you guys are still either working at W2 or did work at W2. And you have so much rapport and like connection with those people. And you guys got to go push into that, right? I would not recommend just, all right, I'm going to go raise it through Gator, it's a great opportunity. I think you should do both. But I think you should think about what makes you guys unique, right? And spread out that way, right? Or, that's one. And the second thing was go find a couple connectors and tap into their network, right? But you guys, we got to branch outside of here, right? Because it's just, my opinion, it can be competitive. Does that make sense?
yeah. No, that
And go
makes sense.
deep, right? So that was part one. Then the second part was going deep with people. When you find that right relationship, right? Like mine's a little bit extreme now with that family office. Obviously, I want to go really deep, get those guys to know me. But when you do find a good investor, like having one really good investor, well, I can play both sides of this, okay? But having a couple really good investors who know you can be super valuable. But at the same time, I always want to be diverse and have lots of lots of options because they can, that's the one thing about the family office, right? Like those guys could pull out overnight on future deals, right? I'm not going to hitch my train to just one.
I've done that too. I know Pace was on his Zoom too, and I seen it afterwards, but he was like telling you how to get prepared to talk to a family office. So I actually talked to 2 family offices and that completely failed. Still have great relationships with them, but they told me straight up, they're like, I'm only looking for 50 million or 100 million plus deals, so it wasn't going to be a fit anyways, but I definitely have been getting those reps in. I just want to definitely learn how to raise capital the right way. So, but this has been helpful, man. I appreciate
Yeah, man.
you.
Good for you to go out and like have the bravery to have those conversations. That's just another big takeaway I hope you guys take from this is like, go start getting the reps, right? Whether that's talking to your friends and family or talking to a real estate meetup, but go get, like, find a deal and start presenting it and you'll get better and better, right? I remember when I was first pitching it was not very good, but now I'm just trying to get my team. Like, I'm trying to get my team back in Houston, they're actually across the country. I'm like, we're raising for fractional. We got 400K left to do. Like, go do your thing. Like, this should be easy. But again, they're still new at it and they're learning, right? But you guys will become the expert in raising capital too. Thanks, Darren.
Awesome. And then I also just wanted to say one more thing. Last week when I was praying, God told me you're going to be on stage and give me a shout out. So shout out to Jesus Christ. That's my Lord and Savior. So I just realized it's the right time for it.
Thanks, buddy.
I appreciate you, man.
You bet. Thank you. You bet. All right, who's next? Let's do it. Who's on deck? Got to get you guys warmed up. Who's still thinking? Brian? Okay. Sweet. And they don't have to be deal specific where you're stuck. They could be any part of raising capital, but we'll see what Jonathan's got. Good to see you, buddy.
Hi, everybody. Jonathan Jones, or Big John.
Big deal.
Some of you I met last year, all you new folks, I look forward to meeting you this year. So definitely, just with Darren there, some of those nuggets are part of why I came today. So over the last year, well, I guess a little bit about me to kind of set this up. So I am a pharmacist. My wife studied business management, and we own one pharmacy in a small town, one little mom and pop pharmacy. And running a business is hard. Working in healthcare is hard, and stress and burnout are tremendous with either one of those, and we've got both. And so over the last year, my Everest has evolved as whether you're new or you've been here a year, there's a good chance your Everest has evolved from what you first thought it would be. And so my Everest now has become, I want to help provide 250 individuals with time and financial freedom by really tapping into that healthcare worker and small business worker or owner network to give them that time and financial freedom and let them to continue to enjoy their work and not, I mean, so many people are just walking away from businesses and from their career that they've gone to school and residency maybe for years. And so anyway, so kind of like the financial part is I'm targeting like over $12 million, like by averaging about $50,000 per investor. Kind of a little side piece that you've mentioned and many others have is I'm in a very poor town and want to help provide financial education. That's just kind of an added benefit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think many of us have that heart. But I guess kind of this is a new journey for me. I've never done the capital raising really. And I guess other than, I don't have a big portfolio right now. You talked about, just building the track record and documenting. So obviously I want to be doing those things, and it may have to be where we start out with doing smaller deals. I think that was very helpful, something that you just helped with Darren. Well, I guess what other advice would you give to somebody who, as you were telling him, like that is my plan. I want to be tapping into that pharmacy network because I have that passion to help relieve some of that burden for them.
Yes. Well, thanks, John. Perfect to drive the point home, right? John's niche, right? When you're raising capital, if you're too broad, you're not going to connect with people. Like, figure out your niche, and you've defined it. So I love that. Let me show you guys one other tool. Can we share this slide for a second? Because I shared this. If you guys go watch that YouTube video, which I'm sure all of you will, but thank you for commenting on it. On that video, I break down so basically, if you guys want to go do the Avestor thing, and so option one is you bite the bullet and you invest the time, because if you really want to do this, John, and you're going to do it long term, I would recommend starting your own A-vestor fund and start small and build it, and then when you pay people back, eventually you're going to get like the high level guys, right? That's the long journey, okay? And this goes for you and anybody else in here. Another, like I wanted to figure out, and I talked to the A-vestor folks, I'm like, how do I find a way where like everybody doesn't have to go pay the 18 grand to start, but also invest with people passively, right? Because again, the line, here's another line that, again, I'm not a securities attorney. Consult one, please. But typically a line is, if you're putting one person, and I'm going to say it because I heard Matt Sorensen say it, if you are putting a single person that is going to be passive, but they're a lender on a single deal, in general, you're going to be okay and not have to go register through the SEC, okay? But when you start to put multiple people on even a single deal, now you're starting to talk about like a syndication, because again, they're passive, okay? So as I was thinking this through, I'm like, how could I potentially work with guys like you or help other people? And the way we do it, because I have a customizable fund, who's heard of fund of funds? Yep, fund of funds is, so that's, I'm gonna land this plane in a second, but fund of funds is a great way for you guys to go tap into your network, right? So John can go raise a bunch of money from people he knows, but John doesn't have the fund, John doesn't want to wait 90 days to go build out all the marketing and the funnels and the go high level and all that. So what you could do is do the fund to fund routes, right? And so the way I could offer this, and I'm sure there's other people to do too, but you could go raise the money, or anyone else in here, you guys could go raise through your network, and then because my fund is customizable, I'll go create a new offering, and I could bring you in as like a co-GP, or actually be like, there's a couple, I think they called it a manager. Anyway, that's actually why this is up here. You would call it like you could be like the asset manager, right? I could bring in you to where you could be a part of the deal because they're your people, right? They want to invest in John, right? But I would be happy to partner with you and give them the platform, because then the nice thing is you don't have to go through and do all the SEC stuff. They would actually come through my fund, or again, this doesn't have to be me, this could be anyone, but they could actually invest through my fund, come down to that deal. They wouldn't have access to all the other stuff. I mean, they could, but they could just invest in your deal. And then that might be a really good way for you to start and do the first deal. You know what I mean? Without having to, because I want to drive this home one more time. If people are being passive and you have multiple investors, you have to be cautious, right? You need to structure them through a fund properly, right? So you could go, so I would recommend to you guys, if you have that situation, find somebody to partner up with if you're not ready to go make the full investment into your own fund. Does that make sense? But yep. Exactly. Yep. So it's kind of drawn out here, okay? So this is my fund, LLC, right here with this model, right? We would go create like an asset LLC. So it's completely separate, right? We'll open a new LLC with me as my role, you as your role, and then all the passive investors. But all the passive investors, they come, if you could see my mouse here, they're going to come down through the top, and their shares are going to go into this specific deal, okay? And then you could be, again, like the asset manager, have a specific role. Because I would want that too. If like we were going to partner and do a deal with your people, and I know they would want that. They would want to know that John is making part of this decision because they trust John, right? But did that, keep going. Should I go a little further? Or?
Well, I think that was good, but I guess just to clarify for me, so let's say, kind of like Dina, I don't have a deal right now, so, and I think that was part of one of my hesitations that, they talk about trying this balance of pre-raising and being able to fund the deal and not raising too much without actually knowing what my deal is going to be.
Yep.
But then with the fund of fund options, like if I would say, hey, Casey, let's partner together. Let me go start, bringing some capital partners in. So you're saying, I guess, with that structure, I don't necessarily have to create my own fund, but we just have that with your fund that we're creating this separate link or asset. And then do I just, at that point, would I provide somebody a link and that sort of would take them to that? I guess kind of similar to like the fractional communities where you can send somebody a fractional community link and it goes straight to that page?
Yes. So the way it would work is Yeah, we would just, honestly, we would probably get on a big Zoom call with your community, and then we would record it and figure out how to move them through. But yeah, it would just be, we'll call it John and Casey's Healthcare Professional LLC. We would create that, right? And that's what we would, I'm just talking out loud here, but I would build it around that. We would build out our Zoom, we would build out our marketing around, hey, this is Casey and John's LLC that's gonna do X, Y, Z. And it could be, you could invest in deals that I'm doing, or we could go lend money out to the sub-2 community on deals we underwrite, or we could go look for our own multifamily. Like, that's the beauty of these customizable funds, is we could develop a business plan and then go leverage or go raise capital through your network.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You bet. I'm glad I wanted to share that one, so.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, John. Look. Does that fund of funds make sense? And again, if you guys, so kind of the two to simplify options to get started, because you want to get the reps and build a track record, right? So you can build it on like one-off deals. If you just want to go raise money for one person and put it into one deal, that's one good way. If you're again, one person, one deal secured is a great way to do it. But if you want to start to bring in a group of people, that's when you need to be thinking about a fund. All right, Brian.
Thanks, sir.
You bet. Good to meet you.
You've covered so much today. It's been pretty impressive that you kind of hit my buttons multiple times with multiple people in here. I started lending my own money about 2 years ago and found success in it and joy in it. And so as my friends and family, I'm an ex-insurance agent, insurance business, so I kind of tapped into those people. They all wanted to jump in, and since then I've been doing deals with them and making money with them. I'm coming up in 90 projects so far. And I just got myself under contract with 24 unit and
Awesome.
project. Yeah, I'm super excited about it, but I'm over my out of my world. I've been finding deals at $150,000, and I'm putting people together and making that happen. Now I'm looking at 700,000 or 800,000, you know, that we're going to need to do this. And I'm just trying to figure out, how do I take that next leap? And you talked a lot about lawyers today, and I just want to know, how do I make that next step other than just getting all deep in putting some money in for a lawyer?
Yes. And I love giving you guys lots of tools. Hopefully these are helping. I'm not being overwhelming. I will give you guys this caveat. I've covered a lot today, and if you're like, hey, Casey, I got a question on that or whatever, I'll share it again, but I'll share my Instagram. Just DM me or find me in the hallway, because my brain goes fast, and I sometimes realize not everybody tracks. Okay, so so the one I just brought up with John is one good way to where if you're going to bring in multiple people and they're going to be passive, you could just go do a fund of funds with somebody like me or someone else. That's option one. Option two is you could do fractional, right? With a lot of people and kind of raise it from a bunch of people that have low. I would do that if you have a bunch of people that have like 10 to 50,000. I would probably do the fractional, right?
We are actually on fractional.
Yeah. Okay. So, but option three is if you just have one or two guys, you could go create a LLC partnership and give everybody clear roles. Again, consult the attorney and make sure that we're not blurring, like Josh said. You don't want to blur that line of active and passive, but you could give everybody, you could go get two partners that each bring in 350 and you operate it, and you guys could take it down that way as well.
Right.
Just like any other partnership.
One other question, because like I said, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, making people money. But I think I started off with a little bit too high of a return, and I'm getting it for people, but I'm at the point where I need to turn the business into something I can actually create an income for myself as well.
Yep.
Obviously, this one project is going to be my project, but most of my lending is for other fix and flippers. So I'm trying to figure out a little bit of how do I tamper down the expectations, or do I just, hey, that's the way I started, that those people are going to have to make their own decision on whether they're going to, maybe lower their standards, because I've given them this great return so far.
Yes, I love that question, guys. This might surprise you. I think Brian did it exactly the right way you should. Right? So I learned this when I was, that same fund I told you guys where I was kind of striking out, couldn't get somebody in several years ago. One of my mentors, he's like, Casey, you got to give up more. He's like, you need to make this is your first big raise, right? Give up more. All right. So I don't think you got to balance it, but I think Brian is in a phenomenal spot because he's been paying good returns. He's got a track record. He can now, even though you might not have that Google sheet I showed you, You can go build it.
I actually do
You
have
do?
a Google sheet like that.
Awesome.
I just never shared it with anybody.
You never shared it. Bingo. So he's already got it, right? So yes, he's got good returns. He's made people money, right? That is fundamentally, I'll share one more story when I was learning about raising capital. He's like, it's like McDonald's, right? If the first McDonald's that was ever came out was terrible and made terrible burgers and had terrible service, you wouldn't have McDonald's, right? But they had a good one and they built upon it and built upon it. So whenever you do raise capital, make darn sure you crush it and deliver on the first ones. Otherwise, it's a good way to not do a second one, right? So you've been raising money, which I love that you're doing. But as far as finally answer your question, I think it's actually an easier conversation than you think, especially because like the Pace's example earlier, he's standing right here and he said, the girl being asked to prom with the 50 guys, right? Well, now Brian he's starting to flip the script on that. Now Brian is the guy with 50 guys he's made money. So I think it's an easier conversation than you think. And I think you just tell him, be like, hey, I would be just genuine and honest, say, hey, I got to make money at this, right? And but I want to keep doing deals. You've seen that I can deliver. I think it's an easy conversation.
Absolutely, I appreciate that.
You bet. Awesome. It's a good lesson for everybody. Yes. Don't ever, I'm going to rehash that again. Don't ever feel bad about giving up too much on your initial deals when you're raising capital, because that will pay off big time long term. Who else? We got time for one more, I think. Go ahead. We can do two more quick ones maybe, if they don't kick us out. Any quick one-off ones while we're waiting? We're almost up here. Yes. Yes. Yeah, bingo. It happens all the time. Like, hey, I'm raising based on this. And so a couple options, kind of back to the question a little bit ago, is you could get soft commitments. Like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I want soft commitments. And then that way, to further define a soft commitment, that means they're committing X amount and you tell them when they're going to bring in money, right? So you could say, the problem with the soft commitment, though, is they give you a commitment and then they don't deliver, right? So I would always over-raise, okay? Now you could also do a hard commitment and bring the money in and just disclose that. Be like, hey, I need your money in this account because I can't lose this deal, but there's no guarantees. And again, it all just comes down to how you structure the deal and how you, like, again, every one of my deals has a deal disclosure, and that disclosure would say, hey, I'm raising for this, it's conditional, or it's based upon approval. Great question. All right, Dustin.
I think I might be wrong, but I think with fractional, don't they require you to put a certain percentage down when you file a soft commitment so that there is kind of some skin in the game on that?
Yes, you have to put a 3% non-refundable deposit. It's almost like an EMD, just to lock in your spot. And if they flake on you, then they lose their money, and no one wants that. So that's how we make sure people are locked in.
It's a harder soft commitment. I like
that.
I
love it. Yeah, seriously. One of my other favorite parts about fractional, because you get just enough commitment, right? Because I love it. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I appreciate this, man, and thanks for letting me come up. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about family offices. I know you got the connection with the family office, things like that. I think sometimes get deals brought to us that, anywhere from $1 million to $75 million that I've had brought to me. That's obviously I'm not funding. They'd be better fitted for a family office, an equity servicer, fund, something like that. How would you go about reaching out to, connecting with, breaking through the barriers of building those relationships with family offices? How would you connect with them? How would you approach them and present to them in a way that's, going to allow you to get in with a family office and build that relationship?
Got it, because you're saying you want to do bigger deals with them, or because you mentioned having investors with bigger sums. Is that right?
Yeah, so I will occasionally get deals brought to me. I have a deal right now that an agent I've built a relationship with has a $26 million development deal that they're looking for funding on. And, I don't have that relationship at this point. I know some people out there do, but how do you go about how would you recommend going about building those relationships with family offices so that when deals like that are brought to you, you can go to them and say, hey, this is what I've got? Yes.
So I think there's two ways to get in the door, right? You either got to have a really good, strong connection. Some people, I was talking to Brandon last night, and his CPA represents a family office. He knows that guy. So you can either get a really good introduction or have a good relationship to where they're going to give you, because at the end of the day, you got to either have that or you got to have the experience, right? And to be able to actually walk in to, I would still encourage everyone to go through the rep, have the conversation with the family office and show, and in your situation, I would just be like, I would find one example deal and be like, hey, here's the deal. Here's the structure, here's the terms, give me feedback, right? And if you find the right family office, they'll find the right guy, and at least you get the feedback, and then you know where the goalpost is at. So you can do that. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, it's going to be an uphill battle to go do a large deal with a family office when you haven't done it. So again, you either got to have that relationship, or that's when I think you just got to do the hack and find somebody, get a sponsor that's done it, that believes in you, and will come back it, but you just got to do one of those, or maybe two, and now you've built the relationship. So there's not a fast one, but yeah.
And these would be connections for me, right? I have a developer that's done the deal before, but they just need funding on something, and so they have a track record of performance.
Yeah.
And I just need to connect them. I'm just working to connect them with a family office
Bingo.
that has the funding for it, right?
That's gold, right? What Dustin's saying is now he could just be the connector on it and connect the two people, but here's the beauty is now Dustin's going to add that to his track record. Hey, I structured and helped put this deal together, and now think how that snowballs. Yeah. That's exactly.
It's just breaking through that barrier of getting in contact with the family office and understanding how the best way to approach them.
Okay, yeah, so I'll answer that part. And Pace has a good Zoom in the vault when they talked about. Did you watch that one about family offices? He did a big series on raising money, and one of them was family offices. But from my experience, yeah, it was literally like, well, especially with ChatGPT in different ways, like you can, or like Nick Fisher was showing you different ways to get contact and hold of people. But I would typically you're going to get a hold of the gatekeeper, and then you just need to figure out who to actually talk to. But I would coming in professional will be a big deal. Like, okay, here's one piece of advice I haven't mentioned yet, is I find investors, everyone's different, right? Some people want to see a one-pager high level with the high level terms in one page, and that's all they want to digest. Some people want to see a 50-minute webinar breaking down every little detail, and some people want to see all your underwriting. And then some people might want just like a 5-minute YouTube video to get to know you. Like what I try to do is all the above, and I take the time to build all that out when I'm raising capital so that I can speak to every single type of person. Because a reason I bring that up is I feel like the family office, it's sometimes can be a time thing. So I feel like you got to catch their attention with like a one-pager. Like, hey, here's the deal, high level enough to pique their interest, and be like, hey, I would love to send you more, but what I would not do is go overwhelm them with all this crap, because they're just gonna be like, I don't have time to look at that, But pique their interest, and then have the other stuff teed up ready to send to them. But that works for family office or anyone, guys.
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Dustin. Appreciate you. Thanks, man. Yeah. There was one more. Let's do it. Was anybody else? We could do two more. We'll see. No one's kicking me off just yet. I'm not getting any dirty looks either. All right. Hey, Julian, good to see you. Here you go.
All right. I have a few questions for you. Briefly speak outside. I just finished the 506B fund finally. It's accredited and non-accredited investors allowed. Obviously, that will put me in a situation to not kind of be careful how I market and how to present. I'm still learning what's legal, what's not, kind of to make sure not screw up. So a little bit of history that I raised money before for individual deals. I have no problem with that. Have extensive experience in the last 15 years. A lot of fix and flips, new builds. But this is new to me. I never raised like money for the fund. What is your recommendation for somebody who, like me, not have yet social media presence? And what is the best format? Shall I try to do group webinars or presentations or live presentations maybe? That's number one question. Second question is, what do you think about minimum amounts? Right now I set up as a 50K. I just debating will be like 25 or 50. What's your opinion on that?
That's a hard one, but I'll answer it. We'll do two more, and then I want to get a picture too with everybody before we get out of here. But okay, and then your current investors you've worked with, do you have their emails, or do you have a list of that somewhere?
No.
Okay.
It was like here and there.
Here and there years ago. Well, I would find some way. Go find a young guy that can figure out, or young guy or gal who can find them, figure out how to track them down. Because the biggest thing would be having their emails and starting to nurture them through an email sequence. Because I get it. Julian's not going to be super comfortable to start doing YouTube videos and Instagram and Facebook, right? But that's okay. He also is going to speak to a different audience, right? You're going to be able to speak to, I'm sure, people your age that have disposable income. So I think that's a great resource you have. And I think that audience is going to be checking emails, right? Even letters. I've even heard from people that are like sending letters. Like I would venture to guess some people here would appreciate a letter with your handwritten signature. Could be another way. And maybe you still have mailing addresses from those people. So those would be a couple of different strategies I would do there. And then as far as capital, man, that is such a hard one. And I even struggled with fractional. I'm like, do I go 10K or do I go 30K or more, right? Because people are a lot of times going to go for that minimum, but you don't want to weed people out. So, man, I wish I had the answer. I'm still figuring it out myself, right? I mean, lower allows less barrier to get people in. And honestly, I would probably stay low the first time because because think about all those people you'll get in. And then when you go make all those people money, that's a big reason why I'm going all in on fractional. It's like, I'm potentially going to have 50 people on this deal with me, and even at 10,000 a piece, but let's go make those people capital and let them go tell 50 more people and create this little spider web. So I would probably keep it lower to get it going, for sure. And start small and then build it up.
So I guess it's possible to amend the paperwork to
yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, because yes, and it's easy. And to go get your securities attorney to amend, I drove my securities attorney nuts because I was going back and forth of all these different scenarios, and I was getting feedback, and I was trying to raise, and finally I just found a customizable fund that just allowed me to make as many as I wanted. But in that, if you're locked into one, that's okay. You can amend it super easy because until they start signing that PPM, you're fine. Even if they sign the PPM, you could still amend it, but my understanding is everybody have to sign the amendment.
Yeah, didn't sign yet. It's ready. The PPM is ready.
Yeah.
But just didn't.
Yes.
Nobody yet signed.
Yes.
Any of that.
Yeah.
But,
oh no, you're not too late. Yeah, I would probably go lower, but just know that a lot of people are going to take the minimum. But that's okay. Just start small.
So if you have, I don't know if you know that, if you have the 506B. I understand it could be like 35 non-accredited?
Yeah, 35 non-accredited,
okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's my understanding.
Okay, so, yeah, that was the reason of debating about, is it 25, like 35, it will be only $700,000 of non-accredited, and then...
So Julian is a great example of why, and again, I wish I could have talked to you a year ago right here, but why I love this Avestor platform, because he had to make a decision on a structure, and he's got to go with one thing, and then he can't really change it. Right? That's why I love the customizable fund, because you can go do it. But you know what? It's not too late, because I did what you did. I went and paid the securities attorney, had one PPM, which a PPM is like the document that governs everything you're doing and has all the disclosures and a lot more stuff, right? But I set that all up. I paid the 15 grand, and then I found out about Avestor. So I actually went back and paid about 5,000 more for them to adjust my documents and make them fit the Avestor model. So it's not actually too late.
So if I have this fund, if I kind of transition to Avestor, is it just fraction instead of the 18,000 the main amount, or?
Yes, and then I got to think about that too with your a 506B, which is unaccredited, and yeah, you're max up to 35 people. Wait, is it 35 unaccredited or accredited?
35 unaccredited, and then unlimited.
Unlimited. Okay, so you'd be okay.
Accredited.
Yeah, so you'd still be okay. So yeah, you could totally go shift it over. They're going to have to adjust all your legal documents, but then you can go with that offering you got. But then you don't have to worry about it like raising it all at once. Because that was my other thing too. It's like if you're raising all this money like, how much you're going to raise? How hard is it going to be, right? I would just make a small one and do a quick one, and then once that's filled up, now you've got proof of concept, go to another one.
Yeah, but I have a small one, $3 million.
Okay.
And, but I put the very low minimum to start, like 200,000. When I'm at 200,000, I can start working.
Yes, once you raise the 200?
Yes.
Okay,
I put this lower minimum,
got it.
and it's 5-year fund, yearly distribution for people who wants to get the money. Whoever wants to roll up for the next year, they can do that. So basically, it's a little bit different probably. I don't know how you structure, but my fund is structured 50-50 with investors.
Okay,
And I don't have any management fees and anything else, like zero.
very clean, yes.
Very clean, very, like true partnership, right? Like
Yes,
this, and that's how it's structured right now. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but.
I think it's a great way to start. And you know what? Yeah, you could, I would probably just roll with what you got because you're already doing it and you're already creating a track record. So I would do it, and I would, don't worry if you got to back off your minimum. I think that's a good thing because you want to get started and start making people money. And then on the next fund, you can go do what you did again, or you could go look at A-Vestor or fractional or whatever you want. Good.
That's pretty much it.
Thanks, Julian. Appreciate you. All right, last one. Then I'll catch up with anybody else in the hallway, but you guys down for a quick picture after we do this? Up on stage? Let's do it.
Thank you. I'm Gina Weibel.
Hey, Gina. Good to see you.
I started out sort of as a free agent capital raiser, and I raised on 3 different multifamily deals with different teams, and was doing investor relations for all of those teams, and they're going well. And so I had intended that now that I have a great relationship with those teams, next time they do another project, I'll capital raise for them again. It'll be a beautiful time. But then I started a company with a couple of other partners, and we do wraps and lease options. And with them, I've been fully focused with them to make the company successful has become a real priority for me. And we created, first we started by doing small LLCs, and I would raise $500,000. I'm the sole capital raiser for the company. I would raise $500,000, and we would do 12 houses. And then we would do another small group, raise 500, active investors, active partners, do 12 houses. We did that 4 times. And now we have proof of concept. We have about 50 houses. We're like, let's start a fund. So we're starting a fund, $10 million fund, but we don't have our paperwork yet. There's been a lull for a couple months where I haven't done any raising for them because the paperwork's not quite ready. We don't need capital to deploy because we still have some that we're working on deploying. But my partners are, how to put it clearly, they absolutely do not want me to go get involved in capital raising for these other multifamilies that I have partnerships with, but they had projects, and they're like, do you want to come back and raise with us again? And I absolutely trust those operators, and I underwrite and I like their projects, and I'm like, absolutely, I want to invest in your project, but I'm having a hard time with the ethical part of like, is it bad to be on 2 raises at the same time? It seems like murky water. So I haven't done it, but I feel bad that I'm missing out on, on these partnerships that I started with people in the past. I still want to raise for them again. I still like their project. I'd still put my own money in it, but I also have my own business. I got to make sure my business succeeds too.
Yes.
So how do I navigate that as a capital raiser?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty clear though, unless there was some sort of non-compete that you signed, which I assume you didn't.
No.
Yeah, it sounds like you just want to do the right thing because you care about these people. But at the end of the day, Gina's got to do what's best for you and your career. And I would hope, I don't know the situation, but I would assume if you're really candid with them, be like, I got this opportunity. I want to help. I don't know. To me, it seems hard, but it's like at the end of the day, I mean, do you really think you'd have to trade off much, or do you think you could do both?
Well, that's the thing when I talk to investors. If I talk to an investor and they want, it's hard to delineate. That's the thing, is if these 2 opportunities are different enough then I can say, here's my company, do you want to invest? And they're like, this isn't a good fit right now. I could say, great, I've got an option B. Do you want to invest in that? And they might like it. What I don't want to do is divert from my company into the other one, because I want my company to succeed. But if they're not going to invest in my company, I feel like it's a great idea to have a second option, because it's a good deal.
Yeah.
So I don't see much of a problem with it, but I think there's a shortage mindset where my partners are like, don't tell anybody about any other deals. And I'm like, but,
Yeah,
our deal
there's
might
a lot
not be
of-
the one that fits what they want.
Yeah, so we're in a room full of abundance, right? But
Yeah.
I recognize there's a lot of room. There's way more rooms that are the scarcity mindset. It sounds like they have that. But I think at the end of the day, it's like disclosure. Be like, this is what I'm intending to do. And if you disclose all what you're doing, like if you're talking, my dad's an attorney, my brother's an attorney. I'm not, definitely not one. But maybe I talk like one sometime. But yes, disclose. Just disclose what you're doing. And disclose it to them, and you might need to even look at some stuff in writing if you feel like it's going to be blurring the lines. But if you're upfront with them, like I love that. I love the option. Like, especially, it sounds like you're still going to prioritize that, like the deals with them, right? And if it doesn't fit, then you're going to move it over. Is that what you're saying?
That's usually, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
Because my focus right now is on helping the company succeed. And that's part of my Mount Everest, and that's something that's important to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hopefully these people care about you enough to know that that's your goal and where you want to go. And if they don't, if they're holding you back, then might not be the.
So, and then my second small question is, as I came on specifically as a capital raiser and an investor relations manager, so I do the newsletters, I do the social media, I'm like the face of the company because I'm willing to do all that part. And since we have active partners, we have regular meetings, like weekly meetings, to talk about what's going on because they're active partners. In my multifamily deals, it was very clear that 30% of the GP was for capital raising, and then it kind of got divided up to different people based on how much they thought they could bring. But overall, it was 30%. So if one person was going to bring it all, 30% of GP went to the one person.
Okay.
Does that structure trickle down to other companies like mine? Or is that too basic? Because we're in negotiations, we're setting up an operating agreement for our fund, and our LLC is the general partner.
Yes.
And I'm like, what's your thought?
Love
what should
it.
I negotiate for here?
Okay, cool. And to get this, you guys, anybody get lost on the last part? It's okay. Because this is where, like, when I was telling you guys about like structure and funds can do whatever you want, but it's great and it's really bad, right? And right now it could be really bad because there's so many different ways to do it. So anyway, I just want to bring that point home again, that like you could do it however you want. But what Gina's asking is, how do I figure out what I want and what's fair, what's market? And it's such a hard, and I'm talking a little long-winded here because when I was this is why when I did my first raise and I did that first fund, I'm like, I don't know, what's too much? What's a good pref? And then if you have lunch with 10 investors, you get 10 different answers, right?
Well, this is more about between me and my partners.
You and your partners, how much do you give?
In the GP,
Yep,
how much, because there's 3 of us,
yep.
and so far in the company, I've raised about $2.5 million, and that's all that's been raised. So I did it all. So now we're doing a 10 million fund, and we're structuring the GP for that. What percentage of the company should I ask for? If it were multifamily, I'd say, well, if I continue to do 100% of the raising, 30% seems right.
Yes.
Does that still seem right?
Yeah, I think in a general GP LP split up, because she's putting the deal together, she's saying that she would keep 30% and the limited partners who put in the money would keep 70,
I'm
right?
saying just amongst the GPs ourselves.
But the GP is total
share.
of 30, right? 30%?
No.
Oh.
I'm just saying the GP share, whatever it is, in this case, we have a regular 2 and 20 funds.
Oh, 2 and 20, okay.
But then, not considering the LPs, just talking about GPs.
GPs, splitting
Me and
up.
my other GPs together.
And there's how many of them?
There's 3 of us.
3, okay.
And one is a very good business builder, one is very good at wraps and lease options and finding buyers, and I'm very good at raising capital. So together we work well.
Yeah.
Does it seem fair that we each just take a third of the company?
Yeah,
Or
such a good question.
not?
easy answer is, yeah, you could split up in thirds, but I don't know. Now I'm thinking about never split the difference. It really comes down to the value they're all bringing and the time commitment. There's so many variables, and also what you can negotiate. But do you feel like, it sounds like you definitely need them, right? You wouldn't want to do it without them?
Well, yeah, because although I'm there, I do not like to be in the office 9 to 5. And we have many employees at this point, and they are in the office, like organizing everybody and doing day-to-day operations. And I'm not doing day-to-day operations.
Got it.
I'm doing investor relations, and it's not 9 to 5 for me, for sure.
Yeah. So if it's a true balance of all three of you are bringing the same amount of value, spending the same amount of time, but honestly, it depends. Everyone's different opinions, probably.
So there's no straightforward answer.
So I wish. I think. Here's what I would do. I would base it on the value they're bringing, right? And the value could be quantified for how much they're growing it, and the other piece is like, what is the market telling you? Like, can you go find a market? Can you go pay an operator 3% to go find, or whatever, not 3%, but whatever the percentage is to do the wrap? Like you mentioned, the guy that does operations finds the wrap buyers and the different stuff there, right? Like, what would it cost to go hire that out? And what would it cost to go hire out the office stuff, right? You could look at it that way. If you were like shrewd negotiator, like I'd be like, what is the value of what they're doing? What's the value of what partner A is doing, partner B, and then I'm C. I don't know. It's a tough conversation.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
My other way of looking at it, for my value, I could leave them and go raise multifamilies.
Yes.
And they would give me 30% of the GP, which is a third of the GP shares.
Yeah, without splitting that into another 3, you're saying, right?
No, I'm just saying the GP shares.
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yep.
Normally a third of it is for capital raising.
Yep.
Okay.
No, but you're thinking about it the exact right way, right? You should be as a
free agent?
Yeah, as a free agent.
I think of myself a little bit as a free agent.
A free agent,
but
that's a good way to look at it.
I am dedicated to the company.
Yeah.
So.
No, I would look at, I've been in your shoes too before, when you're talking to a partner and they don't quite see the value you're bringing, and it's a tough conversation. But I think that's the most logical way to do it. Be like, hey, I could go do this, and this is what I would get, and I've got to make it make sense to help over here as well. And it might not be 33, might not be thirds, might be you get half and they have to split the other half. Okay. Might be where you land. So I definitely wouldn't undersell yourself, especially if you've got another option to go with.
All the operators I've worked with in the past welcome me to come back. So I've let deals just go by that I didn't participate in, but I know they'll do more deals again.
Yes. Oh, another perspective thing. I think this is Squad Up. Pace shared this, all right? What do you say? Do good so you could do more? What was it? You guys remember that phrase? Do well so you could do good, right? So that's where you got to fight for yourself to potentially go make more. Because what would happen, like I'm sure you have bigger goals and bigger whys if you go and take a bigger stake, because then you can go help and do more. That's where it's like, to me, I think about that. Like you need to fight for yourself so you can go do more good.
So
do well.
Just today, for the first time ever, I was talking to Matt Plockman. How do you say that guy?
Peckman, yeah.
And I never told anybody the other part of my Mount Everest because it wasn't real estate related. Mm-hmm. And he said, you should talk about even the non-real estate parts.
Absolutely.
But I'm planning to eventually, this doesn't have anything to do with any of my businesses now, but I'm a swim coach. And so I'm planning to buy properties to do indoor teaching pools and start a new way of teaching swimming so that more kids can be reached, and then offer free to underprivileged communities to reduce drownings.
Wow. Absolutely lean into that. That's great.
No more drownings.
Yes. So you just answered it. I would fight for what your value is, and I would position what you could do another place, because you could do more good if you do that.
All right.
Thanks, Gina. Go ahead. Yeah, you understand that? So you could hire somebody to help fill some of let you do more.
the thing that I haven't learned yet is how to take what I do and teach it to someone else, because I've had a few people say they wanted to capital raise for the company as well. And I'm like, great, come on in. And I'm like, here's what I do. I gather up the people and I invite the people and I have the funnel and then I host a webinar. And I'm like, here's what, I'm gonna host a webinar. Go ahead, do your funnel, round up your people, bring them to the webinar. We'll co-host it. We'll take turns and we'll each cover different parts of it and we'll do it together. And everyone I've done that with never can get a single person to the webinar. And I bring a dozen people and they all invest. And I've had many people say they want a capital raise, but they can't get anyone to the webinars. So I'm like, that's not even the sell. Like, we're just coming to the webinar.
Just getting to a webinar.
I'm like, that's step one. So,
I
and
feel
then
your
at the end
pain.
of the webinar, I say, if you want to partner with us, then we have like an advanced webinar where we're going to actually look at the underwriting together. But anyway, so step one. So far, everybody I've met couldn't get anybody to step one. Yeah. The people who show up want me to absolutely teach them from the ground up. But what I've found is that they want me to tell them who to talk to. And I'm like, these are my contacts that I've been calling and talking to. I'm like, I'm going to keep calling them. You have to go make your own contacts. And that's usually where I lose people. They're like, no, I'm willing to call your contacts for you. And I'm like, I don't need that. I do have a personal assistant, and she helps me with that, but she's not a standalone capital raiser.
Yes. Yeah,
So
I think that's great advice.
I haven't learned how to do that, like raising someone up yet.
Or the other option is AI, and start leveraging AI to expand what you're doing. Like my little pendant thing here too, I'm training it to where my assistant, so you could be doing this, like capturing everything you do. And then the other cool thing is, I didn't explain, but like it's feeding here, and I'm actually investing a bunch of money in like different inputs and like all the AI integration and software to where my assistant can go in there and ask it questions and it can help answer, kind of like Pace GPT, right? To where you could build out this little training manual, like they're saying, and have all the answers to where, I don't know, it's like a resource for them. And so ultimately I would use AI to amplify yourself.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I think it's, any other ones? Anyone else? All right, thanks guys. All right, let's do a quick picture. Yes. Let's do, everybody, we'll get somebody to take it. You guys want to come, let's see the lighting. Yeah, let's come on the stage if you guys are down. Let's do a quick picture. Come on up. Don't be shy. Or we could even stagger. Yes. My phone died though. Can somebody else take it on their iPhone and share it? There you go. That's one way to do it. Thank you.